Jay Thomas, Morning Bun. I got my two favorite critics with me, Janelle and Tony. We're going to talk about a movie we saw last night that's opening this weekend. I had a terrible time recognizing voices. It's called Kung Fu Panda. I got into a lot of trouble. You can see they're laughing at me. So
Yeah, it's always funny sitting with James during animation or any kind of movie when the credits start to roll and he realizes who was actually in the movie. It's an entertainment all along all on its own.
I don't like reading the synopsis. I just want to see the movie, tell me the story, and bring me in. And speaking of telling the story, we're going to let Tony talk about what is Kung Fu Panda all about.
All right. Well, Poe is back as the Dragon Warrior, as we know, after 3 films and a couple TV series. But now he's tasked with picking his successor so he can ascend to the next highest rank there is in the martial arts kingdom.
Wow, that was quick. Okay.
Without spoilers, that's really all you got.
That's all you got. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and get started. Janelle, I was sitting next to Janelle, and she could tell you, I was laughing. I was having fun with this movie. This was a really fun, interesting, great storytelling. It was a good movie. Even though I didn't recognize the voices, I really enjoyed the movie. Janelle?
I think he would have probably enjoyed it even more had he had known who he was listening to. But I can attest James giggled through the entire movie. Yes, he did. Actually, more than the children did. I actually think it kept, but I will say this, the kids weren't rowdy. It wasn't as if they weren't paying attention to the movie. They were dialed in. They were paying attention. They were invested. They did get, with the obvious fart jokes, of course, you're going to get a giggle through there. You got a few gasps out of kids who recognize characters from previous Kung Fu Panda movies. It's very formulaic. It sticks to what it does well. Poe always goes through a challenge. He always has to achieve another level in this Kung Fu dumb. So it sticks to the formula, but the formula works for them. They're not looking for a 5 out of 5. They're looking for a straight 70-80% movie, and they get it. Although I will say the only thing that's kind of less about this is if you know the Fearsome Five, or I can't remember what they're called, you don't get them in this movie, and probably a little too much of Aquafina, which
and speaking of fart and gas, Tony, what did you think about the movie?
I'm not as positive. I'm not as negative. I'm not negative, but to me, it was just missing the spark that I thought the other 3 did have. This felt very much like a bridge to what the future is going to have in store. Like we talked about the Furious 5 not being there. They were very much missed, and I thought the way they described them, conveniently not being there didn't really work. That's an artistic choice, if you will. But Jack Black is great. I thought Aquafina did well. Viola Davis is awesome. Loved her character. It just missed a spark that I think will captivate the parents, but I think the kids are going to love it. And at the end of the day, that's really all DreamWorks cares about.
So what are you going to rate it, Tony?
I'm going to go 3 out of 5. I know I'll be the lowest out of the 3 of us. Again, not bad, but nothing in there is like, oh, take your kids to the theater right now. This isn't, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. I raved about a year and a half ago now. This one just didn't quite have that magic for me.
Janelle?
Actually, I was going to give it a 3 out of 5 too. I don't think that's actually very low to give this movie. I think it kind of does, like Tony says, it does not have the emotional punch that some of the other ones did. But as far as just a good Kung Fu Panda movie that kids that have grown up with this, even my children who are 21 and 19, still enjoy these characters. So yeah, I think 3 out of 5 is fair.
And for those of us that are over 50, I enjoyed it too. They gave it 3 out of 5. But for me, over 50, I had a lot of fun with it. It brought the kid out of me. I'm going to say 4. But you know what? 2 versus 1, we'll give it 3 out of 5 for Kung Fu Panda. We'll see you next week, actually tomorrow morning, and we're going to talk about the Oscars. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 5:30.